we figured out how the part that we can put different portfolios into this model right now. It used to work only with the Dow 30. We figured that part out. We made it automated, so there was no problem with that part mostly. I'm gonna get to that problem we have there. But it did not work when we want to try to change the weight of the like it was used as a price weighted index, but if you want to change equal weight or the random weights at the beginning, it did not work. Rodrigo said this is about something in the optimization model, so he was going to talk about it to Professor Zuluaga. We couldn't figure out a time with Rodrigo before today's meeting to talk about it, and he said he's coming next week, next Tuesday. So we're gonna meet as soon as it's available after next Tuesday. Sorry about that. But now we have another issue. I don't know if you guys are using it, but the pandas get data Yahoo function is not working anymore. That's how we were using to get data from Yahoo Finance, the stock data. So we had to use some workarounds to get over with it. That works, but as you change something in the code, there are some problems in the next lines because it's not the same code anymore. So for example, how this new code is interpreting the date is different than the previous one. So there were some problems with that. Most of them were solvable, and we fixed that. But right now we are kind of stuck at calculating the monthly betas part. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So this is how it used to work. But right now, when you use this, it generates this error. So there is a workaround. You just use this workaround and use the data as a date time. And with this, as you can see, there's no problem with it. It works perfectly fine. But when we calculate the monthly beta, there's a problem with it. It says the year 0 is out of range. I tried to Google it, but I couldn't figure out what's the problem exactly. I have to talk about Rodrigo. But I said, okay, it's beta calculation. I should be able to do it by myself, write my own code. But I did not get the same data as Rodrigo. I couldn't figure out what range he used to calculate that month's beta. So I believe that's the problem, is just we used some different data to calculate the beta. So I think that should not be a big problem once we figure out this error. So, but this problem limits us to move forward. So that's where we're at right now. So as soon as I talk to Rodrigo about it and we solve this problem, I believe we can go into the active investment, like taking this project to the active investment. So yeah, that's where we are at right now.
Yeah, that sounds great. Out of curiosity, so if the script was working the way it should be, and instead of outputting the error message, what would be outputted?
Oh, so it would output this one, this monthly beta, but it's not working right now the way we want to use it.
Okay, and then are you keeping the amount of residuals constant in the case? Because obviously, I remember when I structured the running betas, it's if you're doing it, for example, on a monthly basis, you still have to have the historical data. So each time you loop through it, you can either keep the amount of residuals the same and just keep adding a month of data, or you can structure it where it's at a different point in time you can take it. So that's what I was wondering. So when I see these daily betas, it's daily
this is
betas.
monthly.
Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so monthly betas, at a certain point of time, it's running the regression to calculate the betas and then essentially adding it to a list, as opposed to just calculating betas at the same point in time across different historical periods.
Could you repeat that? I
Yeah,
couldn't understand
long
the
story
question.
short, it's because like I'm not as familiar with like the actual like code block you did to output that. And I think that's where like my confusion is, and I can always like look into that. But I just want to make sure, like I want to understand like the reason why it's not working. But like it sounded like you have a good idea of like why it isn't working, and he just has to fix that. So I was just trying to like dive a little bit into deeper.
Yeah, so this is the data I should be getting. This is Rodrigo's code that's working. But when I run, because of this error, and also I tried to get over with, work around with it. And when I work around, I still get these data. So like obviously the code's not working, as you can see the differences. So, but I believe this part is not the hard part for us. Once we figure out this thing, this should work perfectly fine. So there will be no problem with that. So yeah, and also I forgot to say, Sam also joined our group. So I believe we'll be able to, move faster and produce some better stuff
Awesome.
going
Welcome,
forward.
Sam.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. As I said, Rodrigo is coming next Tuesday. Thanks to him, he graduated, but he said he's happy to help. So
I was going to say that he graduated already, and that's nice.
he's kind. He said, I'll help you when you have. I mean, he said it last semester after I graduate. If you guys have questions, I'll be happy to help. So, yeah,
He's
gonna
under
help
pressure.
next week.
He needs to find a job quickly.
Yeah, I was just going to say also, we can just, maybe we can talk to Zualaga, ourselves, I get, if Rodrigo can't make it this week, but Tuesday, if he can do Tuesday, that's probably great.
Yeah, of course we can talk to Zulaga, but I believe it would be better if because I'm not sure about, he talked to me about it, about what's the problem when we try to adjust the weights, but I think it might be better that if he was here or through Zoom, we can talk it out and then go to.
Yeah, let me know what the plan is Tuesday. I'll see if I can join as well.
Was I muted? It showed up as I was muted. Did you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll let you know, Sam, when we're gonna meet together. So yeah, that's where we're at, Jordan, so far. Do you have any inputs or questions or anything?
Yeah, I guess
far?
it's like it's not an input, but it's just like the idea of like understanding like how it works and what we're trying to do. So like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like this idea of getting the historical betas across like multiple like lagged months is to really estimate the beta at a point in time, which is just a different version of the current beta for the most recent period. I would think that like the optimization is less focused around how accurate of the beta parameter we use and more about the structure of like performing it. Like we can have an optimization model, and like obviously like an input is the respective betas for each stock and like its covariance across other ones, like interaction effects, and then you can go into details of the key econometrics. But like putting that all aside, if you just have a beta to use, you can continue with the optimization model. So like, although like I fully agree, like you should try to fix the code errors that you're having, but at the same time, if it's deemed too difficult, it's good to remember that you don't necessarily need those historical betas to continue.
Yeah, definitely. That's not the main. So if we have different betas, like there will be no problem running the optimization model. We can we can go. Yeah, as you said, if we can fix this, we can go a different route with how we're gonna use the betas, historical betas.
Because there's such good, like not really IP, but there's such good like value in being able to take the respective model, regardless of the beta that we're using to represent, and being able to, tilt the weights of a portfolio to get the respective portfolio betas that we want. It's taking all the individual stock betas and using that to create a model that outputs the respective portfolio betas, and shifting the weights therefore. So like, I think it's great that you are improving, and it's always important to fix all the blocks you have, but just keeping like almost like the eyes on the prize, understanding like what the objective is and what do you actually need to accomplish that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If,
another
if,
thing
if we can
too.
figure out, we'll just yes.
Another thing too is that like, I don't know if you guys have tried, but I've done it a few times in my job already, where like ChatGPT is very helpful with code debugging. Like the conversation around
really?
ChatGPT is a different conversation, but in this specific use case, you can input the code you have, you can input the error message, and you can essentially be like, why isn't this working? And I've noticed that it's really good at outputting like specifically what you need to fix.
Wow. I never thought about it. Yeah. I'll add it to my notes. I'll try that.
It's worth just like trying
Definitely.
out, not to say it's going to work or not, but it's worth just an avenue to consider.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's what we have so far, Professor.
Hey, Sam, how do you see your role in this project? What's your angle here?
Yeah, I mean, I think Asim and I have to sort of talk specifics about the next sort of phase here. I think, right now we need to fix some of the things that Asim mentioned. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be working on, but hopefully we get over this hump and then we can have a better idea in the next week or two.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all we have, Professor. So far.
Jordan, thank you very much. 2
Yeah,
weeks
of
will
course.
have more information for you, and because I think that Sam will be up and running on this one. as well.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. I'm looking forward to it. All right, you
Thank
guys
you.
take care.
Thanks.
Enjoy your Friday.
All right.